Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Lincoln here. I'm here to read you a story on this nice spring Saturday. I hope you're happy at home with your families, staying safe. The story for today, are you ready? Dun dun dun! Chato's Kitchen. This one is written by Gary Soto and it's illustrated by Susan Guevara. Chato, a low-riding cat with 6 stripes, was slinking toward a sparrow when he heard the scrape of tiny feet coming from the yard next door. Left, right, left, right. Chato's ears perked up. His tail began to swing to the rhythm. He felt the twang of mambo in his hips. The movement frightened the sparrow, who shot off into the tree. No problema, homeboy, Chato said to himself and followed his nose to the fence. Through the narrow slats, his eyes grew big as he saw 5 mice the color of gray river rock. He was so excited. His whiskers vibrated with pleasure and he leaped onto the fence for a closer look. Yes, it was a whole family of fat, juicy, moving mice into a house next door. Chato raked his tongue over his lips and meowed a deep, growling meow. The mice froze with their belongings on their backs and they began to shiver like leaves in the wind. Chato was the tallest cat they had ever seen. Orale, neighbors! Chato purred. Don't be scared of me. I'm a cool, low-riding cat. The mice dropped their things and scattered. No de veras, hombres. I'm okay, Chato reassured. But the yard was empty. Another meow rumbled in his stomach, just barely suppressed. Chato thought for a moment as he stabbed his face into his furry shoulder and chewed the daylights out of a bothersome flea. Aha, he thought. I'll invite them for dinner. Chato jumped down from the fence and returned to his house. On a piece of fine paper, he wrote, Chato welcomes you to the barrio and invites you to your family for a surprise dinner tonight at 6 o'clock. But then Chato immediately saw his error and changed tasty to lovely. He folded the invitation into the paper airplane and tossed it whoosh, over the fence. Oh, sure, Chato shouted over the fence. Oh my goodness, I skipped the page. So the airplane spiraled down on a parachute of wind, and Papi Mouse read it aloud. Should we go? Mommy Mouse asked. Why not? Papi said. That Chato cat seems muy simpático. Very nice, I'm sure. But isn't Chorizo coming over tonight? Mommy Mouse asked. Híjole, that's right, Papi said. A friend from the old neighborhood was due over for dinner. They called him Chorizo. Or sausage, because, well, that's the kind of guy he was. After much talk, Papi wrote back. Many thanks, mil gracias. We're coming. And we like to bring a friend, if that's okay. Oh, sure, Chato shouted over the fence. Of a friend is a friend, que no? So he couldn't believe his luck. Instead of 5 mice, there would be 6. Chato pranced off to the kitchen to rattle his pots and pans, whistling La Bamba. He took out beans for frijoles, perfect for mice. Then ripe avocados for guacamole, very nice. And he checked for some arroz because, of course, we need rice. And as he was piling up the ingredients on the table, the doorbell rang. It was Chato's best friend, Novio Boy. A cat with soft green eyes, sleek fur, and the loveliest growl from the barrio. Novio boy also wore the flashiest cat collar, a leather one with Rio gems that sparkled at night when cars passed in the street. Yo, cool cat of East Los Holmes, he purred. What you doing? I'm having mice for dinner, served with the works. Help me with las tortillas. The guys got to work while Chato rolled up the tortillas with a rolling pin. Novio boy placed them on the hot griddle. Careful not to burn his paws, he flipped them over when one side was baked until both sides were perfect. All afternoon they worked away in the kitchen. They cooked the beans and made salsa, not too spicy for the guests, and a large pitcher of tamarindo. They made fajitas, enchiladas, carne asadas, chile relleno, and finally, a sweet, smooth flan. While the cats were busy in Chato's kitchen, the mice were settling into their new home. They had set up a bottle cap for a bathtub, a chip glass for a mirror, and their matchbox beds all in a line. But they still remembered as the sun began to drop behind the trees that they should take a dish to Chato's house. So, what did they make? Quesadillas, of course, featuring their favorite ingredient. What is it? Yep, cheese. Soon, Chorizo arrived and the mice danced in the shadow of their long, skinny, low-riding friend. They told him about the party at Chorizo's house. Okay, ratoncitos, little mice, it's time to go to the fiesta. So they climbed onto Chorizo's back where they clung to his short fur. As if in a limousine, they cruised out of their jungly yard and around the picket fence to Chato's place. Who's their friend? What do you think it is? Ah. Yep, a dog. Chato and Novio boy were in the living room grooming themselves for the party. After 5 hours of cooking, they were so hungry that each time a bird swooped past the window, their gray eyes grew narrow and their mouths watered. When they heard a rap on the door, they grinned at each other. It was like a delivery service with mice instead of pizza. We brought chorizo, Mommy Mouse called. Sausage. Chato and Novio boy danced, and with clean paws they gave each other a low four. We can have chorizo con mice, Novio boy grinned. But when they opened the door, Chorizo and Novio boy were faced with a low, road-scraping dog with a barrio of mice on its back. We're here, shouted one of the little ones. The cool cats didn't say a thing. They didn't hiss or swat the air. They ran and covered under the dining table. Why did they go run away? Why were they scared? Chorizo wagged into the house, his belly bumping over the threshold. He clicked on his paw nails into the kitchen, his nose picking up the smells of simmering food. He shivered the mice from his back and they dropped like grapefruit. Hola, Chorizo barked politely. Chato and Novio boy scampered from under the table and leaped onto the curtains where they meowed for their lives. What are you doing there? Mommy Mouse asked. Don't tell me you're scared of Chorizo. Mira, he's a nice dog. Chorizo wagged his tail and let his tongue fall out. Chato and Novio boy looked at each other and they slid from the curtains and their furs raised, greeted Chorizo with a cautious meow. Slowly, everyone took their seats. Salud, toasted Chorizo. To your health. Salud. Chato agreed forlornly. He was not going to eat any guests tonight, but still, he figured it was a pretty good meal they'd rattled from their pots and pans. After all, it did come from Chato's kitchen. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this story. I will see you soon and take care. Goodbye.